Hello everyone, I'm João from That's Brilliant. In this video, we're going to talk about Newton's third law of motion. And this law is also called action, reaction, reaction law. And imagine both action and reaction as forces. When I say action or reaction, I mean a force. And let's see what the law talks about. If an object exerts a force on a second object, the second object exerts a force of same magnitude and opposite direction on the first one. So, forces are never alone. Forces always happen in pairs. So, imagine this ball here. Imagine you have a wall and you threw this ball against the wall. So imagine here the wall, and when the ball hits the ball comes back a little bit. The ball doesn't stick to the wall or slides through the wall until it reaches the ground. The ball hits the wall and it comes back. So the ball exerts a force on the wall, and the wall exerts a force on the ball. So the ball comes, hits the wall and comes back. And this is the action. You can call this the action and this the reaction. So notice what the law says. The forces, both forces, action and reaction, they have the same magnitude. So if this force is, for example, 10 newtons, this force is also 10 newtons, but they are opposite directions. And we can see here from this drawing here, the action is, for example, to the right, the reaction is to the left. We could have, for example, action forward and reaction back. So there you have both action and reaction have always the same magnitude but opposite directions. And this is how you walk. So imagine when you are walking, imagine this is what really happens. You push the floor back and then the floor pushes you forward. Imagine when you are walking, notice that you are really pushing the floor back, and then you go forward because this is the reaction of your action. For example, another example is the car moving. The tires push the floor back, and then the floor pushes the tire and in consequence the car forward. So this is an action and this is a reaction. And both action and reaction forces, they have some things we have to understand. As I already said, they have action and reaction, they have the same magnitude, but they have opposite directions. Another important thing, it's the same magnitude of the force, but not necessarily action force and the reaction force are going to produce the same acceleration. The magnitude of the forces of action and reaction are the same, but not necessarily action and reaction forces are going to produce the same accelerations of the same magnitudes, because the values, the magnitudes of the forces are the same, but the accelerations not necessarily are, because the acceleration depends on the mass, as we saw in the Newton's second law of motion. And another thing we have to understand is that action and reactions, they happen, the reaction and reaction forces, they happen simultaneously. So when the action happens, the reaction happens. There is no delay. The action happens on the same time than the reaction. They are simultaneous. And another thing, they are never exerted on the same object. So the action and the reaction are never over the same object. An object can't receive a reaction and the reaction of that action. It can receive another reaction, but not the reaction of the first action. So notice here, the action is in the wall, the reaction is in the ball. The action is in the floor, the reaction is in the car. The action is in the floor, the reaction is in the person who is walking. So the action and reaction are never on the same body, on the same object. So as I have already said, forces don't happen isolated. Forces happen in pairs, action and reaction. So there is something we can say with all confidence of the world about forces. The total number of forces on the whole universe is an even number. Because if they never happen isolated. If you have an action, you have a force, you have a reaction to that force. So there's always pairs of forces. So you can say with all confidence that the total number of forces in the universe is an even number. So this is it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.